All right, cool. So I use a tool called Sumble, who I actually found from another rep at Trumpet, who I work closely with, completely different industries, but we're all either salespeople, managers, developers in some capacity, always open to the new things. And with Sumble, one thing that I really like is I've used Clay, I've used Built With, every other prospecting tool that you can really think of. There's no real way to find call center technology, or that might be a newer add-on. So Sumble's interesting because not only are they pulling like that HTML stack to see what's living on people's sites, but it's also looking at job historicals, job posts, things from the past that can qualify companies by just, hey, do you have familiarity with these systems or anything of that nature? So my task in Claude Cowork here, and with the Sumble MCP connected, I had no connection with Salesforce, Gong, any of the tools I use outside in Zendesk. So this is me just starting with a CSV file that here I can go ahead and show you guys that lives just in here. So all my accounts are pulled in. I have my start accounts. No one poach them, please. But nonetheless, have that here. So where I started, if someone has call center, that's a deal I want to go after. It's a large qualified company. I know that they have a support need. So that was my first, I guess, the creative process, which now with Claude, you have an idea, you can show up at work and you can implement it. So what I did, simply asked, hey, can you identify who uses a call center and what technology they're using? Right away, I actually ran this. I had another one ready for the demo. I started running this about 10 minutes ago just to have it a little bit more cleaned up. So already here right away, has my full account list, pulls the 61 companies here, asks me some clarifying questions because I also was interested in the contacts. So it could have pulled operations, customer success, but proactively asked me if I wanted to include those. So for this, I just wanted to do contact center. And then one background here, I had a skill built. So skill is just something, if you're going to do something repetitively, make it a skill. So I called it the Zendesk sales brain. I just pointed Claude Code at our online help center and had it characterize, again, with some help and some always ask Claude questions if it can clarify in any way, to really know our top sales plays and how to position those. So those are the only two things I really had set up. So got down here. So it's just, it gives you some quick highlights on the top person in my entire book that I should reach out to. And funny enough, we are in a deal process now for a very, very large sum. So shout out to Sumble for that, for possibly helping me hit my quota in the first 2 months. So really quick, Brandon, am I missing anything here?
No, this is great. Yeah, I love it.
Cool. So just for the sake of this presentation, I wanted to show the drafts in chat. So right away, not only does it have the direct LinkedIn of the people that I'm looking to go into, but their Sumble profile as well. So on the back end, I also use Sumble as a way to characterize who I've reached out to and then have that kind of be my data bank to know who to go back up to, who to follow up. Because in my eyes as a rep, if I'm right 4 times this year, I'm a President's Club winner. Just getting in touch with the right people with the right message at the right time. So it gives me an example here. So just you guys can skim it. I'll try and butcher reading this, but Quince's growth curve is something. I'd bet a big chunk of what hits your Canadian carry team right now is Wismo. So that's just where's my order. Returns, sizing questions, all that. Zendesk AI agents are now resolving up to 80% of the repetitive volume end to end, not just linking articles. A few D2C retail peers have deflected 40% of tickets in the first quarter after turning it on. Would it be worth comparing notes? So it is intuitive. One thing, if I had to do this all over, I just don't like the double hyphen. That's like one thing that'll sell you out. Other than that, you're usually in the clear. Explains why, doesn't know the exact stack, but has call center tags within their job posts. So that's where it pulled that from. And then it gives me the top sales plays that I can go after. So did this for some top prospects here. Of course, I can go deeper into these companies, do some more manual digging. But the one that I found very, very interesting here. So at Smith RX, this person's title on LinkedIn and in LinkedIn and I guess just LinkedIn is implementation manager, but now characterizing her job, not just what it tells you. This is someone I would have never found as like a product manager or an implementation manager. But really, based on her job description, she oversees the entire call center as well as the implementation of tools, which sometimes you get that title, sometimes you don't. So again, talking about quality assurance, talking about unreview, how that lack of review can lead to poor forecasting. Those are the signals that in such a crowded market that we live in, if you're talking such like high level topics with some sort of knowledge as a sales rep, I see that as something that can help me stand apart. So again, competitors that they found, all that. So again, these are just the top five. I ran this prompt legit 10 minutes ago. And the cool part is now using something like Claude Code, you can actually connect your Gmail and have these messages that it comes up with go straight into your drafts for you to review. So the way I like to use Sumble is I'll go in with a sales play in mind. I never like to have groups of 30 or more because then you get a little spammy, you're not as exact. So you go in and try and create as many clusters of 30. So for this one would be a call center takeout or a call center takeout in retail. It can figure out if it's B2B, B2C, anything that's important to your business as finite as you'd like to go. It, at least for me, has found it. And I would love to have you guys stress test that. So here, I don't have it linked to show to my Gmail right now, but again, I could just as easily have my Gmail connected, push these to my Gmail. If I like the system, I can then save it to my skill. So if I liked what I see here, I have some email logs of past rhetoric. I actually like we'll see them on LinkedIn. People will share that for just about free. So Gary V had an email template, and of course, why not steal from Gary V? So have that in there as my correspondence, keeping it less than 100 words, and that's usually how I open my days. Whether it's a sales play, working with existing customers, getting those batches of 30 based on something that's very unique to them. And again, these messages, if you want to throw in the old cheesy tagline about their alma mater, you want to offer them a gift card at their local coffee shop. I've had I've had that where what's the closest coffee shop to this person's headquarters? So I oversee San Francisco. I'll have that be in the subject line, meet for coffee at wherever, and then have this be my message. But super cool, easy way to get some messaging out for all the reps out there.
Hey, Eric, one question. You may have already said this. Remind me the context that you put in about Zendesk. That's something you put into Cowork. Is that right? So like support docs so that it has Claude has all the context about Zendesk's business. Is that
Absolutely.
right?
Yes. So
Okay.
for me, it's a little easier. Zendesk has a lot of public facing knowledge for developers, anybody that needs help. So that is a little treat that I have. But we also have been working on our own internal MCP that has internal competitive info, internal some deal wins. Our Clue dashboard is going to be connected. Gong calls are going to be connected. So whenever I need to find something very, very quickly, like I was working a deal earlier this year about a very specific SDK mobile wrapper as a part of their chat support. Don't ask me anything about that. I really was pretty dumbfounded when I got asked. But again, once you have the data and you have the tools, you're the conductor. And what you have to do is just know what you're looking for.
Epic. All right, Eric, anything else you want to walk through?
Yeah, I use this every day. Are there any questions in the chat? I know it's kind of blown up,
I
but
think we covered most of them. I would say, yeah, if there's other questions, maybe you can hop in chat for a couple minutes if you don't mind and see if there's any. I know Apurva is here as well
yeah,
from Sumble.
one
I'll
one
put a couple
last
things in there as well. Yeah, go for it.
One last thing. So I've used Zoom Info previously. I think we have that with Zendesk. Everyone's
Yeah.
probably used Zoom Info in some capacity. From using Apollo, Zoom Info, and a bunch of other sources before finding Sumble, I've sent probably upwards of 2 to 5,000 emails. Sorry if anybody on the chat's gotten them. Feel free to reply. If not, but I've probably had 10 emails bounce out of 5,000, which I think's unheard of. And the ones that do bounce are the ones where it's like, hey, so and so's moved on from this company, dated within the week.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about data quality, that's also something that we've started to use and are looking to implement as part of a data enrichment campaign as well as Zendesk. So
Cool.
lots to like about it, and I'm not a paid spokesperson if that is also a but
Yeah, well, with Stumble, I would say like two things. One, it's free, so you can literally just sign up at stumble.com and just play around with the data, which is amazing. And then number two, they mentioned they're doing a deeper dive on this. So I wanted to shout this out on Friday, I think. Yeah, this Friday, like a Stumble 101. So if you want to join that, I can put that in the chat. Apurva, I think you're here. If you can put like a sign up link. Oh, I have the sign up link. I'll put that in the chat. So you can sign up and learn more. And then Eric, if people like want to talk about how to do this with their sales reps, what's the best place to find you to chat more?
yeah, I'm open to any and all conversations because 98% of the time I'm learning. So if you have any questions, I almost call it the big brother advice where things I've tried that may have not worked for me, worked for me. The more conversations like that I have with professionals with more experience or anything of that nature, open to all and have a lot of knowledge to pay forward from the people that have been generous with theirs with me. So LinkedIn would be best. Eric
LinkedIn.
Fitz, Fitz.
Amazing. We'll put that in the chat as well. All right. Epic. Thank
Sweet. Thanks,
you,
Brendan.
Eric. I appreciate it.